Hello, folks. I'm the old sergeant. Our government and half the American people have decided that the conservative people in flyover country are now domestic terrorists. Hard-working Christian people are now extremists. If you are a Republican, you are a domestic terrorist. Writer and leftist political activist Don Winslow posted a video on Twitter that you need to see. I will make comments after the video.
On or before January 20th, Donald Trump will no longer be the commander-in-chief. He will lose control of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Special Forces, and America's nuclear arsenal. On January 20th, Donald Trump will become the commander-in-chief of a different army. This army. The greatest threat facing America today comes from within. Radical extreme conservatives, also known as domestic terrorists. They are hidden among us, disguised behind regular jobs. They are your children's teachers. They work at supermarkets, malls, doctors' offices, and many are police officers and soldiers. For more than a decade, Donald Trump has spoken directly to white supremacists in their language.
Build that wall! Build that wall! Build that wall!
Pocahontas? Is it offensive? Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
In the middle of a presidential debate, Donald Trump was asked to disavow white supremacy. He refused. Instead, he told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by.
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
They heard their leader. They even responded to him on Twitter promising to stand by. And on January 6, 2021, Trump greenlit them. They suited up, they flew in, they took hotel rooms, they loaded their weapons and prepared their bombs, and they attacked with the intention of killing Nancy Pelosi and hanging Vice President Mike Pence.
They were vocally saying, "Where's the speaker? We know she has staff. They're here someplace. We're going to find them."
In the years ahead, Trump will lead his army of domestic terrorists. He will encourage and incite violence. He will play the role of arsonist and fireman. He will start a civil war and then say things were more peaceful when he was president. We have to fight back. In this new war, the battlefield has changes. Computers can be more valuable than guns. And this is what we need now more than ever, an army of citizen detectives. I'm proposing we form a citizen army. Our weapons will be computers and cell phones. We, who are monitoring extremists on the internet and reporting their findings to authorities. Remember, before the Navy SEALs killed Osama bin Laden, he had to be found. He was found by a CIA analyst working on a computer thousands of miles away. It's up to you.
This is how half of America thinks of the other half. More importantly, this is how our government views most of America. Right off the bat, they call American patriots and Trump supporters domestic terrorists. They use the same language they used for hunting communists in the 1960s, or how Germans talked about the Jews in the 1930s and 40s. And of course, the name-calling begins. The dehumanizing begins. They start with the slate of ists and phobes, like white supremacists, no matter the color or the race of the patriot. Has anyone ever really met a white supremacist? Do they exist in reality? I take great offense to the claim that because most of the military are patriotic conservatives, they are domestic terrorists. Little soy boy Dan Winslow would crap his pants if he was next to somebody firing a weapon on a rifle range. This little arrogant leftist never wore the uniform of his country in his life. He is the type of person that hates the military and the police because he knows they are better human beings than he will ever be. Somehow, it is a moral failing, and you are racist to not want tens of thousands of illegal aliens coming to America to live off the citizens and take their jobs. Big corporations like it. Cheap labor they can treat as slaves on the bottom, suppressing wages up the pay scales. That is why salaries have been stagnant for decades. The Democrats love the fact that the illegal aliens vote illegally and once nationalized legally for Democrats. The Democrats will take money from current Americans and their grandchildren to buy the votes of the illegals. Amazing how the Democrats call America a terrible country, but the world wants to come here. Maybe not for long, as Democrats and Republicans put into cement America as an oligarchy. In the video, they lie about President Trump calling for stopping Muslims from entering the country. He stopped Muslims from known radical Islamic countries from coming to America. There were many Muslim countries that were not on the list, and Muslims from these countries could come in with the normal process. The video lies by cutting off Trump just before he explains the limitation. The leftists have a belief of orange man bad, and anything he does is evil, even if they have to lie to make it so. Unfortunately, too many Americans believe the lie. They will destroy anything Trump built, even if it is an objective good that in isolation everybody would agree on. President Trump has constantly been asked to denounce white supremacists, which he has done repeatedly. The mainstream media continues to perpetuate the lie. The Proud Boys are not a white supremacist organization. The Proud Boys are proud of Western civilization and all the great things Western civilization has brought to the world. They are of all races. Even the leader isn't white. They fight against the constant attacks against America and Western civilization. The Proud Boys have been described by their leader as a drinking club with the patriot problem. While denying he was a white supremacist for the 100th time, President Trump told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. Essentially, he was asking the Proud Boys to stand down and stop instigating conflicts with Antifa. Their actions were just making the patriots look bad and was not helping the situation. President Trump called patriots to the Capitol to support the congressmen that would be challenging the electors from states where the integrity of the vote was called into question. An estimated hundreds of thousands of people showed up. Some of the rally goers, egged on by embedded Antifa, BLM, and other forces, executed the operation to bring patriots into the Capitol to discredit the Trump-supporting conservatives. Who were these real violent people? We know Antifa and Black Lives Matter were there. Most of the folks entering the Capitol did it much like tourists, even staying within the velvet guide ropes. This was a planned operation. Trump supporters are accused of arming up with AR-15s and making bombs. Did you see masses of people with rifles in any of the video pictures? Who made and planted these bombs? Were they real? If there were a real effort to capture the Capitol and the politicians inside, it would have happened. The tunnels would have been captured first and the rest of the Capitol, and there would be real trained people with weapons, not a mob milling about. Here's the sum of the weapons: 5 rifles, 2 pipe bombs, and 11 Molotov cocktails. Where were these weapons found? Did anyone see anyone throwing Molotov cocktails? I suspect most of these were brought in and planted by Antifa and Black Lives Matter agitators. The politicians tried to make the Capitol event as bad as 9/11 or Pearl Harbor. They are using it to call half of America enemies of the state and to use the power of the state to attack their political adversaries. The video sets up the narrative that President Trump is the leader of an army of domestic terrorists, also known as a populist uprising to fight the deep state, the oligarchs, the corrupt politicians, and the crony capitalists. The Democrats and deep state Republicans will use the power of the state to crush the average American citizen to secure their power. The Democrats claim that President Trump will start a civil war. If you have been following my videos, I had us in a cold civil war until the communists started burning down our cities. Then I said we were in a hot civil war. I wonder what event the historians will say was the start of the hot civil war. A war that is turning into a patriot, liberal, and conservative populace against the oligarchs. Don Winslow proposes an army of citizen detectives. Essentially, he wants to turn cancel culture into a major weapon of the oligarchs. These people will scour the internet for conservatives, Christians, Republicans, Trump supporters, people that left the Democratic Party. They will get voter rolls to identify Republicans. Anyone that says or does anything that is wrongthink or against the control of the oligarchs will be targeted. They will use what they find to have you deplatformed from all social media. They will get you fired. They will have financial institutions cancel your accounts. Any income you receive from the government will be canceled. They plan to unperson over 75 million Americans. When we rise up in righteous anger, they will use our own military and law enforcement to take us out. If you want to know what the Democrats have planned for you, ask what would the Communist Chinese Party do to you? Sons and daughters of the Republic, we are in a great battle. A battle between good and evil on both the temporal and spiritual planes. You must get ready for an oppressive government that is after your God, gold, and guns. These authoritarians that want to stifle everything that is good in the world. To return our country to God and the Constitution, you must start at your own local level. Make sure your church, your city, and your state do not go down the path of destruction the oligarchs want. These fascistic people that take great pleasure in exercising their power over our lives and the pain they can inflict. Do not let these evil people intimidate you. I'm the old sergeant. Stay informed, prepared, active, prayerful, and as always, stay vigilant.